Good morning, everyone. This is Dexter of Tinampay for your reporter for this morning. For today's session, we are going to discuss all about copy editing, cleaning the copy and writing the headline. So, copy editing, proofreading, and copy editing are often assumed to be the same thing, but they are not. Are you looking for someone to improve the style and flow of your writing? Or do you simply want someone to ensure that your commas are in the right places? In publishing, it is typically understood that a document that has been edited will still need to be proofed. So, publishing, it is making information available to the public, and in the past, this was done mainly through issuing printed copies of documents, and it promotes writers and enables them to bring their creative skills to the forefront. So next is an editor is often needed for his or her individual style or specialization in a particular subject area. But if you are looking for someone to go through a text with a fine thought comb, you need to find a proofreader or copy editor. So we all know that an editor is a person who edits written material for publication. Also, it is a person in overall charge of the editing and often the policy of the newspaper. Next is to help clarify things. Here is a helpful guide to explain the differences between these three skills. So we are done about the copy editing. So the first that we are next to discuss is all about the editing. An editor has the freedom to remove entire sentences or rewrite entire paragraphs. A good editor will correct any obvious errors he or she comes across, but his or her main goal is to use his or her expertise and intuition to ensure the document makes sense, cuts down on wordiness, and clarifies any ambiguity. So, editing, this is the process in selecting and preparing written, visual, audible, and file media used to convey informations. It involves looking at each sentence carefully and making sure that it's well designed and serves its purpose. So, this is very important because it removes errors, improves your workflow, and enhances your language and the style. Next is proofreading. It is the process of examining the final draft of a document or a text after it has been edited to ensure there are absolutely no errors. A proofreader will review for spelling errors, punctuation errors, typos, or incorrect use of original English. For example, ensuring that you are using American English or British English when necessary. So, proofreading, it is carefully checking for errors in a text before it is published or shared. Also, these strategies focus on eliminating errors and mistakes in grammar, punctuation, spelling, and last is the formatting. After is that the copy editing or copy reading. So copy edit a document is to proofread it with the added expectation of ensuring style consistency with other content from the publication. So copy editing is also known as sub-editing in the UK or United Kingdom, Australia, and elsewhere. So copy editing, it is the stage where a piece of writing, so the copy will reviewed and editing to improve its readability, and it ensures the style of writing is consistent and that the text flows organically from one sentence to the next. Next is the copy reading refers to the serious and comprehensive revision of an article based on the standards of publication. It includes everything from checking of facts, restructuring the lead, rewriting sections to asking a writer to rework a story. So reading is more of a journalism in nature as compared to other words defined above. Copy editor must have the talented eye of a proofreader as well as additional expertise in matters of different style of writing. So copy editor, it is where you need to correct the spelling, the grammar, and the language. Also, as what I've said, it is where you need to correct the inaccuracies, discrepancies, and errors, and the tone to the piece, and it's polished and ready for its intended audience. A copy editor will also have expertise knowledge of different style, guides, and may also perform fact checking or have specialized knowledge in a particular field. So, next is the desk and the desk work. So, the desk refers to the corps of editors or deskmen whose primordial job is to clean the copies. So, desk is it is one who can clean those copy. A copy is a journalistic term referring to any article, whether sports, news, editorial, or features. So sometimes it is also referred to the place where they work. Next is we are done about the desk, so we are going to proceed about the deskman. So the deskman is a knowledge master that means that he or she must be a wide reader and is always updated on current knowledge and information. So we all know that a deskman is a person who or a newspaperman who process a news and prepares a copy. So there are two main job of a deskman or a copy editor. So the first is that the editing the copy, and the second one is the writing the deadline. Next is the work process. As stated here, a copy editor should know the rules like the ABC of writing, which is the equivalent is accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Then the UCE is of writing is unity, coherence, and emphasis. Next, the triple A of writing, which is adequacy, aesthetic, and appropriateness. Next is the triple C, which is conciseness, concreteness, and consistency. And the phrase of writing, which is functionality, exactitude, readability, and simplicity, and also the specificity. So we are done about the work process. So next, we are going to proceed about the procedures in copy editing. Once a copy is served to the editor, he or she should handle the editing process systematically. Here are the suggested steps. So the first is read the whole articles first to determine what kind of story it is. Of course, we need to read it first so that we can determine on what kind of story it was. Next is read the article again to determine which the lead paragraph is. Then next is take note of errors in fact. Check on the accuracy of the statements and informations, and verify with the writers when in doubt. Next is read the story again and mark all paragraph beginnings. Then correct errors in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and style using copy reading symbols. After that is improve the organization of the story. Make sure the lead features the lead fact. And after that is go over the whole story again and remove unnecessary and irrelevant materials. Of course, if you are done reading the whole story, you need to remove those unnecessary words or unnecessary meaning about it. Then check the length of the story and then prepare the clean copy. Next is write a very catchy and fitting headlines for the story and give printer's mark for both of the body text and headlines. Then encircle the slag line. And lastly, the article is now ready for printing. So this is the time that after you create or having a writing, you need to print it after. So this is the example of copy editing and proofreading symbols. So we are done about it. So we are going to proceed about the journalistic writing. So what is journalistic writing? So based on my own perspective, a journalistic writing it is a style of writing that is used to report news stories in a variety of media formats. Also, it is a form of nonfiction writing used to report news and factual events. So, journalistic writing. Journalists cannot march in the parade. They can only stand on the curb and write about what goes past and by. So, according to Roger Mudd, award-winning TV journalist said, Joseph Pulitzer, a famous publisher in the 18th, stressed one of the most important qualities of journalistic writing in his memorable command, which is accuracy, accuracy, and accuracy. So Roger Mudd's quote refers to another important quality of journalistic writing, which is the objectivity. So these are the tips for accurate reporting and editing. So the phrase is verify each fact and quote against your notes. So if you are in doubt about anything, check with your source again and double check the spelling of students, faculty and staff, names as well as grade levels and titles. And refer to the official documents or listing of information such as homeroom list or a school directory. So this part of this is you need to also to keep a current phone book and at last handy to double check the names of organization and also the places. Next is the be objective. Strict objectivity is required. To be objective, you must report the facts without bias or preconceived ideas. You cannot let your own personal opinion cloud or slant your reports. So if someone is objective, they can base on their opinions on facts rather than on their personal feeling. And I believe that a journalist should be a completely objective. So the third one is present all significant viewpoints of the story. So be careful as you choose which sources to draw from and which opinions and facts to use. Give example time to pro and con views. Whether or not you intend to, you can tip the balance of that story. Strive for true, fair representation of all sides. You have an obligation to report not only the truth but also whole truth. Then lastly is the cite the source of all opinions in your story. If you are unsure whether you are editorializing, ask yourself, would everyone agree that this is true? Eliminate the words I, me, my, mine, we, us, our, you, and your story unless you are quoting one of your sources. So, this cite the source of all opinions in your story. You need to avoid any words that suggest a judgment or opinion unless you make it clear to the reader that someone else said them. After that, to help maintain balance in each issue, make a list of sources cited on an official list of students, faculty, and staff. Place a check mark next to the name of each person whose opinion you cite in a story. Avoid quoting a person more than once during a school year unless the person is a vital source for your story. So I think that would be all for my report. So this is my reference. I get this reference from the book. And if you have some clarifications, violence reactions, you can ask me anytime. And I think that would be all. Thank you and God bless us all.